Hello, and welcome to the Kuribros, a Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime recap podcast. I'm your host, Phoenix, and I'm forklift certified. Joining me, my co-host, a man out to break every OSHA violation under the sun, it's Andy. How you doing, Andy?
I think I'm forklift certified.
You would say that, wouldn't you?
Well, I'm going to say it to the OSHA people when they come.
I'm pretty sure they check.
No, they don't check.
That being said, I've never questioned if anyone else who was also operating a forklift was certified. So, maybe they don't. Maybe they just take your word for it.
I'm pretty sure. So my one of my earlier jobs when I just got out of college was like in a warehouse. Like it was like printing T-shirts and stuff, and there was a forklift there. I'm pretty sure my boss wasn't forklift certified, but he could run that thing like a champ.
I think it's wild during that period how close your and mine's actual job sites were, but we never interacted with each other about it.
It was always like you were always out by the time I was there. I don't think I could ever cross paths with you.
Yeah, we were just two stupid ships in the night.
I did drive by your like where it was all located when I'd be on lunch break. I remember it'd be like a carpool of us going to like Wawa, and then we just drive back, and we drive like I remember driving by and just being like, "Where's Phoenix? Are they there?"
No.
More at 11.
They're downstairs.
They're somewhere else. I don't know. But I think this is not a reminiscing podcast. This is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime recap podcast. And what did we do last episode?
How are you going to say it's a recap podcast about an anime from our show and say it's not about reminiscing?
Shit. That's actually a good point.
Yeah. Get got, bitch.
But we're not reminiscing. Well, our jobs weren't in Yu-Gi-Oh!
If only.
No, not really. If I was in the Yu-Gi-Oh! World, I'd rather be a duelist or something.
If Konami wants to give me their money, I'll take it.
Yes. See? You get it.
Actually, now I'm thinking about it, is it called Kaiba Corp because it was called the Konami Company? So they have the KC?
No, because I don't think Konami were they always the people who had Yu-Gi-Oh?
Well, Konami existed before Yu-Gi-Oh did, so now I'm wondering how much that influenced. No, because the manga would have been made before they were being distributed by Konami, so it's just a weird coincidence.
So Konami actually did publish it in Japan since 1999. Upper Deck did it from 2002 to 2008, and Konami has done it since, at least for the trading card game. So they would have.
Huh.
But, well,
I think it's a coincidence.
I'm pretty sure it's mostly just a coincidence.
A weird coincidence, but still.
Well, I don't think maybe Kaiba Corporation. Now I gotta go back into old Yu-Gi-Oh! And see if they mentioned Kaiba Corporation when Death Tea and all that stuff was a thing.
I think they did, because I remember them having the brief scene of Gozaburo being outed from the board.
They do, but I don't know if they mention it as Kaiba Corp by name. But they might. They probably do. It's things that I don't remember.
It's takeover time by me.
It's a hostile takeover. Jump out that window.
Well, while we try and crack this mystery chestnut, the quick recap of what happened last time was Kaiba, with Yugi being there too, I guess, defeated the duelists of Loomis and Umbra in a double duel at 30,000 feet, and no one actually died, unfortunately.
You mean go to the Shadow Realm, right?
I think he did go to the Shadow Realm. I think he fell through the Shadow Goo.
There's no goo.
The smog.
There wasn't even like, this is why it was so confusing. I think I talked about this last episode where it's like, they say go to the Shadow Realm is falling through the thing and you fall into the Shadow Realm. But then I think it was Umbra who did it. Umbra gets a parachute and he's okay. And there's nothing. So you couldn't even make that make sense.
I'm mixing memes now because now I'm thinking of that meme of SpongeBob where it's like, the only way out is through the perfume department. But they're going to the Shadow Realm instead. You gotta go through the Shadow Realm to get out of here.
And it's just evil Bakura and like evil Marik and like a bad Shoddy just all spraying you with bad Shadow Realm mist. You're like,
the Weevil bug spray.
The Weevil bug spray. That's it. It's just Weevil just spraying bug spray. That would be my own personal Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like that. The English voice actors very well done, creepy, annoying cheater voice for Weevil.
I was thinking about not Weevil specifically, but he's always like sort of teamed up or displayed with Rex at the same time.
Yeah, that kind of does happen, especially more with like filler stuff.
Yeah.
They seem to be a combo.
But Rex is like nowhere near as much of an asshole as Weevil is. Like, the only bad thing he did was fall for Mai's feminine wiles, which, same.
Yeah, it's he's not
like
really...
after that, like, he dueled Joey and was kind of a dick about it, but like he was also working for Mai at the time. And the next time we see him is he loses to Esperoba, who cheated.
Yeah, he's not necessarily... I mean, I guess later on, especially because it's the filler stuff, so they kind of do what they want, but I would assume he'd have a chip on his shoulder after that. Kind of, he has one of the bigger falls from grace in the show.
Yeah.
Like, he's already shown from the beginning to be like second place at best, and it only gets worse.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many duels he won on... they do say he has like a few shots. I think it's like 4 or something, or 3.
I mean, he did
4.
well enough to get second place at Nationals.
Yeah, and I don't know if Joey knocked him out. I think he did.
He probably did.
I'm sure. I don't know.
Either way, he didn't do well enough to get into the Duelist Kingdom finals.
No, he definitely did not, but not many people did. Mai did, though.
Yeah, she did.
Good job, Mai. We're proud of you.
Love to see a girl boss winning.
But yeah, so I can imagine he have a chip on his shoulder for that. So I'm sure it kind of narratively makes sense what happens to him later on, even if it is just a big load of filler.
I think it's a lot of just like classic, like pairing the evil loser goons up. Like Bulk and Skull is what they're like playing off of. That whole trope of like, here's the 2 losers, we'll just put them together.
Was that a Power Rangers reference?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I was like, I want to know if I got my references right.
Yeah, yeah.
I like those two. Like, they're a funny little trope.
Yeah, they think they kind of got like a character redemption where like they took over like the juice bar or something.
Yeah, I think I could be wrong about this because I'm not very well versed in later. Honestly, mostly Power Rangers, if anything. But I'm pretty sure they come back later in like some other series.
I know this is a wild detraction from what we normally talk about, that being Yu-Gi-Oh! But in the Power Rangers comics I was reading, I think they had like these short spin-off stories at the end of one where Bulk and Skull were like the purple and orange ranger for like a filler thing.
Nice.
And also in like the stuff with Lord Drakon, they were a part of like the resistance force that was fighting against him.
That's kind of sick, actually. I'm glad to see that they're like the
Power Rangers comics go hard.
Good for them. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see like things like that can get good media somewhere.
Yeah, and if you want to be, mortified, you can read the short story that they did about Finster's backstory.
Which one's Finster?
He was the little, like, kind of furry one who would, like, put the putties in the oven.
Oh, that guy. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
They go dark with him.
Oh, no. Well, I guess they have the room to. I don't think there's much with that guy.
No, which they just took it and ran into a really dark place. Speaking of dark places, the Shadow Realm. Anyway, so a man fell through or didn't fall through the Shadow Realm. Mokuba saved himself with Teia's help from being captured by the ghouls. And then they all hopped in a Kaiba Corp brand helicopter to fly off to look for Joey and Teia. And that's what happened.
Yeah, that is what we covered last episode. And now this episode we are going to be covering a duel between bros, but one bro's kind of messed up in the head.
So it's like us.
Yeah, kind of, but I mean, I don't think either of us are messed up in the way that one of these bros is messed up.
I don't know. Sometimes the intrusive thoughts win, and then I make bad financial decisions.
Watching Ruby buy PS5, buy a PS5, buy a PS5. It's just like Marik's in your head.
Boy. That's another classic meme. Anyway, before we talk about the duel between bros, I do want to briefly say there is a recap episode between the end of the Loomis and Umbra duel and the start of the Yami versus Joey duel, where the only real new information that's given is the Kaiba brothers are brought up to speed on the situation with Marik and Yami being a pharaoh, and then we just get a whole lot of flashbacks.
Yeah, it just shows a lot of clips from Duelist Kingdom and all the duels besides the double duel that have taken place in the Battle City so far. I think its only real purpose is to kind of a break episode, palate cleanser for what's to come, because what we're kind of covering is probably one of the biggest things to happen in this season. I think this is probably one of the highlights. It's one of my favorite moments is watching this duel. I think it's very good like character stuff between Yugi and Joey. So I think it's always one that I've always like, it's always stuck with me even now. I was looking forward to this section when we were starting this season, so I'm glad we're finally here. I don't know if it's, would you say it's like probably one of the top moments, or where would you kind of rate this in like
Thinking
the moments
about,
so far?
and we've talked about this on like our last couple episodes about how they tend to start like really strong intros and then the actual dueling bit, it really peters out the action. I think these episodes are just phenomenally paced front to back. There are still the cuts to other stuff that I don't care about as much, but as far as all of the content goes, I loved this entire chunk.
Yeah, this actually, to kind of go off what you just said there, is a lot better paced than a lot of the stuff we've dealt with. Like when we were doing Arcana, I think that kind of became a drag at some points.
Yeah.
Especially just from all the quick cuts. It wasn't as obnoxious as the Paradox Brothers, but like Arcana was definitely a drag. The double duel was okay. I think as far as the dub goes, I'm not really feeling some of the, I don't know, personality liberties. So I kind of want to go into this more later, but I as much as I like Eric Stewart as a voice actor, I don't like what they're, and I don't think this is necessarily him, but I don't like that they're kind of making Kaiba this kind of like ignorance is bliss or arrogant. Like he's more arrogant in the dub than I think in anywhere else.
To play off that, I think in the sub, seeing the way that Kaiba is taking in all this information, and in the recap episode, he talks about the Millennium Items as like, you don't really believe that occult nonsense, do you? Like, he does believe that there's something to it, but he doesn't want to say, like, this is factually real. But he can't deny that, like, other people do believe it.
Yeah, and like, even as far as like the double duel, it's, at least in the dub, it's a little more, like, it's a little less subtle, kind of how arrogant he really is. Whereas I think in the manga there was like, he was boasting and he still had his kind of like hubris, but Kaiba just like also kind of understood a little better. And I think one of like something that I think about in as far as going in these episodes, when he goes with Yugi in the manga, he's looking for an answer to something. Like kind of the answer to what makes Yugi tick, and like if Yugi's like, because obviously in this episode Yugi's ideals are and like priorities are really challenged because now he's facing off against, you know, kind of going into, Joey's mind controlled by Marik. So that's what we're gonna be covering, and it's kind of a real test for Yugi to how is he gonna get out of it. And like as we'll go into it, it's really set up well where there is like true conflict with what it is. Obviously we find out and the good guys win, but like, so that's what Kaiba wants to see. He kind of wants to see the answer to this question of what is Yugi going to do if he has to face the people he cares about. In the anime, or at least the dub, Kaiba is like, I'll take you on a ride. We'll get you to your helicopter friends, and we'll see what goes on with this Marik guy. And his only reason for staying is maybe Joey has the God card that we don't have.
Yeah, like maybe the Winged Dragon of Ra is around here somewhere. Yugi, I just saw on Pokemon Go that there's a rare Charizard spawn. We gotta go, Yugi.
So it's just like, it makes me feel kind of like bummed because I don't know. It's just kind of a bummer because it makes Kaiba a little more one note than he should be. I think he's a little bit more of a complex character, and I hate that it's in the dub, at least he's a little more, he doesn't have as much of the like there's hints of it, but it's not fully there.
Another win for the sub it is.
Hey, that's, you know, at least I think if I was just doing the dub, I think I'd be a little more annoyed, but like reading the manga and kind of getting the like two sides really helps me.
Well, speaking of helping, let's start with fighting, because we've gone almost 20 minutes without actually talking about what we're talking about.
Sometimes people should enjoy the
we
candid
have lost
speech.
their attention.
No.
They've left. They're gone. They're out of here.
No, thank you for staying, by the way. So we did 74. It was the anime recap episode. Who fucking cares? So now we're going on to 75,
which covers chapters 132 to 134. This episode opens with Marik walking with a Taya and Joey, who are both under his mind control. Odeon, which I don't remember if they said his name before, but it is Rishido in the sub.
This is the first time, actually.
Ah, I thought so. Because I thought Rishido sounded really new.
The Rishido is the Japanese name. That's what they call him in, or it's like Rashid or something in the manga. So Odeon's the dub name.
Yeah. So, Odeon, which is what we'll be calling him because that's what everyone knows him as because we speak English here, arrives with 12 puzzle locator cards. Also, I just realized I just said we speak English here. Andy recently informed me we have a bunch of people who are listening in Germany and other places that don't have English as a primary language.
Well, a bunch for a few.
I don't know, there's thousands of them.
That somewhere, hopefully.
Thanks for watching. How'd you find us?
Either way, thank you for finding us and listening to us.
Yeah. Who told you about me? Anyway, Odeon arrives with 12 puzzle locator cards, so both he and Marik are able to get into the Battle City finals. Marik remarks that Odeon must have won using his trap strategy, and that he doesn't need to bother brainwashing Odeon because Odeon would never betray him. Marik then has Odeon put some new cards into his deck to make it a burn deck, and Marik laughs evilly, which is spelled with 2 L's, autocorrect told me, while thinking about Joey killing Yugi. En route via helicopter, Yami is thinking about Joey also, and Kaiba says that if brainwashing is possible, then Joey is probably going to be turned against Yami. Kaiba taunts Yami about him preaching the power of teamwork in their tag duel, and says that Yami will not be able to work with Joey if he has to face him like this. Mokuba apparently has the eyes of a hawk and is able to see Joey from their helicopter and sees him standing on the pier below. The helicopter lands, which I think from the angle it came in it should have crashed.
Probably.
And they all hop out to deal with Joey. Henceforth, this Joey will be referred to as Puppet Joey, or PJ, and he challenges Yami to a duel. I'm remarking this in my notes because Joey and PJ are very different to me. Also, it's funny.
It's one of my nicknames that's at that job I was actually telling you about earlier.
Oh, that would have sucked.
Oh, I can't say what it was in the thing, but what it stood for, but I'll tell you later. I've actually probably told you.
It stood for penis job.
Yes. No, but we're going to say that is.
Oh, so anyway, PJ challenges Yami to a duel where one of them will die.
Ooh.
And Kaiba watching this is like, oh shit, really? Oh, I love whichever way this goes.
See, I think Kaiba's a little more hesitant in the manga, whereas in the dub, like we said, he kind of is like, Joey probably has the other god card if Marik is just giving him away willy-nilly to some fucking mime.
Oh, don't worry. Kaiba gets hesitant really quickly, but right now he is hyped about this.
He's like, let's see what these two do. They're going to punch each other, aren't they? Actually, did they mention that this is the same pier that the gang all set sail for in Duel's Kingdom? They didn't say in the dub, but that's what they say in the manga.
If they did, I didn't clock it, but I don't think they did.
They kind of make it a point in the manga, so I'll bring it up later.
Oh, I think you just brought it up.
Well, it's they kind of expand on it a little more later.
Yami says he does want to duel Joey, but only once both of them are true duelists, like they had promised at the start of Battle City. PJ does not respond to this and leads Yami to the arena, but not before a brain-controlled Taya, speaking in Marik's voice, also arrives on the scene. Creepy. The dueling arena is a square-shaped pier with an opening of water in the center and an anchor suspended above the water. Yami and PJ are then shackled to the anchor, which they are told weighs 300 kilograms, or about 661 pounds, and it's set to drop 30 seconds after a player's life points hit 0. At each duelist's feet is a box containing the key to the shackles that will open only when their opponent's life points hit 0. The loser will be unable to unshackle themselves and will get pulled into the sea. It's like the Arcana trap again, but now it's nautical themed. Yami tries to object, but a timer is already started on the anchor for 40 minutes, and it will pull them both down if no one wins within the time limit.
They gave him 60 minutes in the dub. It's 40 in the manga, though.
60 makes more sense because it is spread out over 3 episodes, so the 40 is definitely more translated from the manga.
They actually are handcuffed also in the manga on their wrists are handcuffed, not their ankles, for some reason.
Well, I need my hands to draw cards.
Yeah, but they were able to do that.
No. Anyway, so Kaiba actually starts to have normal reactions to all of this after seeing the saw trap setup and thinks it's fucking nuts.
This is about card games, not death.
Yeah, very much. He's like, this isn't a duelist's pride. This is a saw trap, and not one of the good ones. This is just an ice pick.
This is definitely Saw 5 worthy. I've never seen all of them.
Kaiba tries to make the madness stop, but we then see that Taya is also in a saw trap, wherein she is locked into a chair with a shipping container, which an empty shipping container that is 20 feet long probably weighs about 4,000 pounds.
About.
Which is way more than the anchor does. I did look that up for this. It's held above her on a crane, and if anyone tries anything funny, then she gets pancaked. Marik then releases his control of Taya to ratchet up the fear, so she is now conscious of being in danger.
Fucked up. This is also something that doesn't happen in the manga. They do something a little more, it feels a little more sadistic, but also something probably they couldn't show on TV, so I understand why they did it this way.
Did they tie Taya to the anchor?
No. They give her a
gun?
No, a cyanide pill, and they have her kind of like not bite, like hold it between her teeth, and like Marik's like, if you do anything funny, I'll make her swallow it. She's gonna die a horrible death, and that's kind of like the incentive for Yami and Yugi to kind of be trapped. Obviously, it's the same way with the crate, but they just do it a little more subtly. It's less grandiose, I should say. She also doesn't lose her mind control.
Fucked up is what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Marik also makes Yami take Slifer out of his deck, so that way it wouldn't get pulled down to the bottom of the sea if he lost the duel. And as Yami does this, he also takes Joey's Red Eyes, which was in the same holster, and slots it into his deck in Slifer's place. Which, I say in his place, I actually don't think Slifer is in Yami's deck yet, because he has his deck in his duel disc, and he has Slifer and Red Eyes in the deck holders separately, so I don't think he's had Slifer as an option yet.
No, I think that's what they're kind of trying to establish here. And I kind of don't blame Yami or Yugi for ever putting in the deck, because they know it's Joey's card at the end of the day. But, I mean, it did come in handy right now.
Also, I did see in the dub video, they did have, in English, Sky Dragon of Osiris, where Slifer's name would be.
Oh, really? Huh, interesting.
Yeah. Take that, executive producer, bitch. So, the duel is finally set to begin, and we smash cut to other shit.
Boo!
Very much boo. Tristan and Serenity arrive in Domino City. Tristan goes to a phone booth, leaving behind a still blindfolded and can't see Serenity in a brand new city. Not brand new, but...
He's so smart.
Can't see. He just wanders off to a phone booth. Remember phone booths? To call Taya. Hey, remember knowing people's phone numbers offhand?
What?
Right, wild. We do get to see a shot of Taya's still smashed cell phone with the little Kuribo blippet on it, and that call goes nowhere. And we also see some ghouls are eyeing the two up with malicious intent.
Ooh.
Very much
That's not good.
In the duel proper now, Yami's going first, and he plays Gazelle, the king of mythical beasts, in defense mode and passes. PJ plays Raigeki to destroy Gazelle, excessive, and summons and then attacks directly with Alligator's Sword, putting Yami down to 2,500 life points.
They established in the manga that Raigeki is banned from Battle City in the manga, like along with a lot of the cards that Joey uses in this duel that are like added in. They specifically make a note to say there are a lot of illegal cards because they can't do direct damage or like direct battle damage. I think also like just like wiping things clean in a sense. That's just like what they establish as against the rules in Battle City.
The funny story I have about burn damage cards is, I may have said this before, but one time me and my brothers went to the shop for like a Yu-Gi-Oh night, and I was playing Cyber Dragons, my brother was playing Exodia, and my other brother was playing a burn deck we just threw together from all the spare stuff we had.
Mm-hmm.
And burn deck brother did the best of all of us with just the garbage we gave him.
Oh my fucking god.
And we were like, wow, this is really upsetting for the rest of us, but very funny. So here's that anecdote for you.
That's really funny, actually.
Yami then plays Big Shield Gardna in defense mode and passes. PJ plays Hinotama, yelling out the word fireball in English, which does 500 points of direct damage. Kaiba calls out from the sidelines that burn cards are banned from this tournament, which, in the defense of playing it, this isn't a tournament duel. This is murder.
Yeah, it's a battle to the death, Kaiba. This isn't Battle City anymore.
Yeah. Marik, observing in secret from his special boy boat, doesn't care about the rules and is then informed by Odeon that Tristan and Serenity are in the city. Marik says they'll be good pawns for his revenge, which doesn't really make sense, because by all appearances, it looks like the Pharaoh's gonna lose. He's already down half his life points, and when he loses, revenge will be achieved, so why kidnap people further?
Because he's fucked up.
Yeah. Anyway, Yami's a little extra crispy from the Hinotama, but refuses to give up. Yami draws, and we cut back to Tristan and Serenity to interrupt the flow.
Boo.
The ghouls corner the two, and then Tristan just carries Serenity away on his back, and then we're right back into the duel, where Taya is understandably confused as fuck about what's going on, and then Mokuba brings her up to speed. So I guess that's these two's relation, because that's what they did last time in the warehouse.
That's all he's kind of doing. He's actually... I was going to bring this up later, but I can bring it up now. He's actually held hostage himself in the manga.
Oh, fuck.
So they kind of do something a little different. I'll go back to that when we actually get to that point. But Kaiba's like getting ready to try and like shut the duel down, and then turns around and a bunch of ghouls have Mokuba in a chokehold and are holding a knife to his like neck, and he's like, "Do anything funny?" and he gets it. So Kaiba's a little stuck himself.
That's a lot more intense.
It's a very intense manga telling, I will say.
The crane ghoul, who, which I don't mention, there's a ghoul operating the crane holding the container buffer, tells her to be quiet or he'll drop the container on her, and Taya tells him to pull the trigger, piglet. Taya tells Kaiba and Mokuba to stop the duel no matter what, and Kaiba internal dialogues at Yami to survive this prideless duel. Still Yami's turn, he sets a trap card, summons Kuribo in attack mode, applause goes here,
Woo!
and passes. PJ attacks Kuribo with Alligator's sword, but walks right into Yami's trap of his set Spellbinding Circle, which locks down the Alligator's sword and makes it weaker. PJ then plays another Hinotama, yelling Fireball again, and this one actually blows Yami's coat away. Sun's out, guns out.
Beautiful.
It is actually very well animated. And that's where that episode ends.
So, you know what kind of stinks? It's easy to predict the duel's outcome when Marik starts shit-talking Kuribo, the ultimate god card. So it's like, all right, we already know Yugi got the dub because Kuribros got us, dude. Kuribo's got us.
Did he learn nothing from how Kuribo won the game last duel?
Yeah, he was out in the Slifer duel. Guess who won that duel? Marik.
Has Kuribo been in every duel that Yami's had? I don't think he was in the Arcana duel.
He was not in the Arcana duel. I don't think he was in the Exodia Rare Hunter duel.
No, I don't think he was.
So, but he has been in Slifer, the double duel, and this duel.
And the back alley duel that took a turn cycle.
I guess. Sure, we can count that. It's Kuribo. I'll always count him.
Hey, they got locator cards from it.
See, they don't establish that in the manga, so I just feel like it's a little horseshit, but I don't really care.
I mean, it's all kind of bullshit.
I wonder if Kuribo's in the final duel of this arc. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Someone note this and let it. We'll find out later.
Oh, it'll be me. I'm planning a big quiz for you at the end of the whole Duelist Kingdom arc. I'm gonna ask you how many times Kuribo was in duels.
What about Battle City?
I can make a quiz for Battle City.
Oh, we're gonna do it for every arc. How many times is Kuribo in every arc?
How many questions have I asked you about Kuribo in this season?
Shit, he'll be in it a lot in season 3.
Yeah, it will be.
Fuck yeah.
But we're not in season 3. We're in episode 76, covering chapters 134 to 136. Yami is still pretty toasty, but he laments Joey losing the heart of a duelist. Little Yugi then calls out to Yami from inside their soul palace and asks him to switch places with him for this duel. He recounts that Joey ran into a burning building to save him, does not mention Tristan being a part of this, and he wants to repay Joey for saving him. Yami allows it, and little Yugi is in the driver's seat now. Marik gets pissy about it. Yugi draws for turn and uses the heart of the cards to pull Red Eyes off the top. Woo! Tristan and Serenity are still doing their B plot, where they get cornered under a bridge by the ghouls.
This is really all the filler padding of the week. Like, all this Tristan Serenity getting chased by ghouls and stuff, and all this stuff does not happen. Well, doesn't happen like this in the manga. Actually, what happens is, because I've already established Duke Devlin's with them in the manga, so Tristan, Duke, and Serenity all arrive to Domino City and try to figure out a way to get to the gang because they didn't, get a location. When they run into Mai, who is finishing off her final opponent to qualify in the final. So yay, we get Mai time.
Whoop.
And then she gives Serenity some words of encouragement because Serenity's still all nervous about her bandages and seeing Joey. And then offers him a ride. And then that's all we see with them until the end of these episodes.
My Valentine, able to sense when there's a young woman in need of a strong female role model.
We always love a girl boss winning.
Yeah, we do. So, they're cornered by the ghouls under the bridge, and much like when Joey fought off the ghouls with Taya there, gets the upper hand until Serenity/Taya were put in a headlock, and then they're like, aw, dip, when all of a sudden, a new player enters the game, where one of the ghouls gets hit with a die for 1d6 damage. Arriving on the scene is none other than Duke Devlin, Ryuji Otogi.
Woo!
Dice in hand.
We love him.
Duke throws the dice at the ghouls and then tells Tristan to take Serenity and run. The B-plot duo, now a trio. Back in the A-plot, Yugi wants to use Red Eyes to awaken Joey's duelist heart. But instead of just summoning Red Eyes, Yugi gets an idea. From the sidelines, Taya calls out to remember the ring of friendship she drew on their hands in episode 1, and I think it's funny that Tristan, who was also a part of that, is not here.
As he should be. Or shouldn't be.
Yugi plays the card Exchange, which lets players take a card from their opponent's hand, and PJ walks over to see Yugi's hand, but upon seeing Red Eyes, he's hit with a friendship gut punch. Marik tells PJ to take the Red Eyes, but instead he takes card Destruction, and Yugi takes PJ's magic arm shield. As PJ walks away, Yugi reminds him of their promise to face each other as true duelists. Yugi then tributes his monsters to summon the Red Eyes Black Dragon. Marik is big mad about this turn of events, and it gets worse for him as Odeon arrives to inform him that the ghouls have failed to capture Yugi's friends. Marik backhands Odeon with the Millennium Rod.
Oh, well, I guess it makes sense that I wouldn't see that in the dub, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Oh, it's so mean.
He's holding the Millennium Rod in hand. He turns and smacks Odeon across the face with it.
Damn, we'll get into Odeon's character a little bit later, but like knowing what we know about Odeon's character, this makes me sad.
Poor Odeon. PJ, now facing down the Red Eyes and a little shaken about it, and Yugi tells him that Red Eyes is looking at him with its red eyes, filled with sorrow for losing his duelist heart. I'm also not making a joke there. He does say Red Eyes' red eyes are looking with sorrow. Those are the words. I do like how this does speak to what Red Eyes represents as a metaphor for Joey's fighting spirit and his adaptability. And for factually, while not being the strongest, he does find ways to use weird and unconventional means to push through difficulties in his duels. Yugi then attacks with Red Eyes, and Alligator Sword goes kablooey. PJ threatens to win next turn, and Yami wants to take over, but little Yugi says no, and even goes so far as to take off the Millennium Puzzle. The imagery shown of Yugi still stealing his resolve to keep going on his own while still holding the puzzle with trembling hands is very good.
This is probably the best like Yugi's been characterized in the show, honestly.
Knowing that this is the actual first duel between Yugi and Joey, because the best of friends, best of duelist duel was just in the anime.
Yeah.
This goes pretty hard. It must have been nutso in the manga.
Yeah, I can imagine if when this was coming out week to week, people who were big fans of the manga were probably they were eating good.
Anyway, PJ plays his third Hinotama, and Yugi goes down to 1,000 life points.
Oh, yay.
The ghouls are still searching for the B-plot trio. Apparently, Duke was in America to work out some stuff pushing Dungeon Dice monsters through, but he came back to take care of some things when he learned about Battle City taking place, and hoping to meet Yugi, he went out into the city to go look for him. Tristan then updates Duke on the situation with the ghouls, and we go right back to the duel, and it ain't looking good for Yugi or anyone, really. Yugi hobbles around the pier to Joey, while PJ continues his turn, summoning Rocket Warrior and playing the spell Attrition. PJ uses Rocket Warrior to weaken Red Eyes by 500 points, which actually blows off one of Red Eyes' wings, and the Attrition card weakens it further by Rocket Warrior's 1500 attack, making Red Eyes a measly 400 attack point monster. Falls down on the hologram ground, looking very sad, but PJ is starting to have the brain shakes from seeing Red Eyes hurt like this, and little Yugi finally finishes hobbling around the arena to give his Millennium Puzzle to Joey so that it won't get pulled down into the ocean with him when he loses. Episode ends.
Yeah, they actually make it a point to like even say in the manga, hit Red Eyes' wings kind of thing. It hit one of its wings. It's blown off. Like, bro, he's really hurting. I also really liked how well they depicted Joey's struggle to pick up Red Eyes, like when the exchange of the hands were happening, and like how Marik would be like, "No, get the Red Eyes, get the fucking Red Eyes." Like our victory is assured if we get it, and like Joey's hands like trembling, and like he's really trying to fight it. And then when he pulls the card, it's card destruction. You're like, it's a really cool revelation, especially seeing how kind of bleak it was for Yugi and Yami trying to get a hold of Joey. So it's really kind of the cracks are showing.
These episodes fuck hard.
Good one. Good on you, Battle City. You finally got some really paced well. Oh boy, that's kind of been like my biggest gripe of the season. I think the pacing's been a little off. I think it's probably going to get better as we get to season 3 after the filler stuff, but
I think a major issue with the pacing is them trying to turn a manga into something that is serialized for television episode amounts, and manga being chapter to chapter, it not being able to be as easily broken down into the 26 episode chunks that they normally are.
I think this one's a little more, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, this one's definitely not like a straight double. No, this wouldn't be 52 because
there is 48. There's 48 episodes this season.
That's pretty chunky.
And it was 49 last season.
Right. So they are still the same amount, but there is, and we'll get to it when we get to it, the start of season 3 has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, that season, and you know what's funny about that season? It has less episodes than both of these. It's got 47, including the non-filler stuff.
They couldn't even stretch out the filler to make it work.
That only lasted 24 episodes. So it's, just above half the season. So this will be fun.
And it's the bad half.
And then like Waking the Dragons is 40 episodes. And then season 5 with everything and the filler is also 40 episodes.
Wow.
Well, either way, that's a lot of content we're going to make.
Is half of Yu-Gi-Oh's Duel Monsters filler?
There's at least 2.
Is 40% of the show filler?
Yeah. Well, they had to get
what the fuck?
Yeah, because there's the whole. So there's the Waking the Dragons. There's the Noah part of season 3, and then there's the.
So half of season 3, all of season 4, and half of season 5 is filler.
Yes.
That's 2 seasons worth of filler.
Yes.
What is this, Naruto?
Kind of. Well, I mean, and I think it's because once Battle City ends in the manga, it goes straight to Millennium World or Dawn of the Duel, if you want to call it that too. So it's over after that. So they either wanted to make that season or like that part of the season really well done. And I mean, they get it done in 25 episodes, I think. Something of that nature, if I'm doing the math correctly.
I'm pretty sure 5 of those episodes are one duel.
Yes.
Granted, it's a banging.
I mean, it's the one duel.
Yeah, it's the big banger.
It's the one duel, so it makes sense.
But still, that's so much wasted animation.
I think it's so they could make it better. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it was.
I think they kept it going so they could sell Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
I mean, probably. That's what they kind of did with every other spin-off in this show.
Yeah.
It's literally just to sell a new meta.
Yeah.
Almost every time. Pretty much every time.
Well,
Fusion, Synchro.
Until they started pushing rush duels and no one plays those.
It's the newest ones are rush duels.
Yeah.
But
I don't know anyone that plays rush duels.
Yeah, I can't imagine, but I'm sure there's someone out there. If you play rush duels, comment on one of our posts.
If you play rush duels, are you doing okay?
Let us know.
Do you want us to call someone?
Well, I thought about it, but also
I'm gonna call someone for you if you keep this up. And they're gonna put you in a rubber room with rats.
I was already in one of those on Tuesday.
Oofa. Did you make friends?
No, I slept most of the time.
All right. I'm gonna out your whole ass real quick. So Andy thought it'd be a good idea to send me a message when I'm like at work. I work the night shift, so it's like 10:30 at night. I go on my lunch break. I check my phone. I got a message from Andy. He says, "I look like a monster, LMAO." And he sends me a picture that looks like he's like hooked up to like an IV and like he got fucked up in the hospital, got like stuff like going to like in his nose so he can like breathe well. I'm like, oh fuck, he was in an accident, he's in the fucking hospital or some shit. And I sent him a message. Of course he doesn't respond. He's asleep. And then the next morning he's like, yeah, I was just doing a sleep study thing. And I was like, you motherfucker. Why? What'd I do to deserve this?
I kind of forgot to tell them that I was doing one of those.
Yeah, some context would have been nice, you fuck.
When I sent that picture, I did think I already told you about it, so I'm sorry.
Didn't, bud.
I obviously didn't. Well, I'm okay. Well, I'm not okay, sleep-wise.
I was going to call your wife to make sure you were fine, but I was like, no, let's give it a minute.
Well,
maybe it's nothing.
I appreciate you challenging those anxious thoughts and trusting me.
Oh, no, it was not trusting you. I was putting my whole ass into the universe and being like, all right, maybe the universe isn't going to kick your ass out from under you this time. Maybe it's fine.
And it did it. So, it's what it is. All right.
Fuck you.
Well, on that note, let me get into my episodes, which is episode 77, which covers chapters 137 to 138. We get back to Yugi giving away his most prized possession to Joey and walking back to his side of the dueling field, hoping it will knock some sense into him. Yugi's reasoning in the manga is more because he can't fight Joey knowing he could be dragged into the ocean because of it, so he wants to make sure the puzzle's with Joey just in case Yugi does perish. Both adaptations of Yugi know that Joey is fighting, and he's going to fight to the very end as long as there is a way to get Joey back. We see Marik putting more hater worms in Joey's brain, but Joey is trying to pick them out. But Marik tells Joey to destroy the puzzle and makes him grab a piece to throw into the ocean. But Joey then suddenly gets a flashback to the very first chapter of Yu-Gi-Oh! When Joey stole a piece of his puzzle and threw it away, and how he learned that Yugi was a true friend and even being so shitty towards him, so he recovers the piece. Don't know what we're talking about? You probably never listened to our first episode, and I kind of think that's rude. We worked really hard on that.
I also think they've shown this flashback a few times throughout
Exactly.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
But you should also listen to our podcast.
Yeah, go back, listen to it, rate 5 stars, comment saying, hey, I came back to rewatch this and you was right.
Please review our podcast. We really appreciate it.
I'm not even saying please, do it.
Yeah, do it. So we cut back to President Joey, who is refusing to throw the piece of the puzzle, and Marik is Mick pissed. Yugi starts his turn and plays Beta the Magnet Warrior and 2 face-down cards and ends his turn. Marik is stoked that he's finally able to take out Yugi when Joey draws Panther Warrior and demands Joey plays it. Marik plays Panther Warrior to attack Red Eyes, but Joey uses Rocket Warrior instead to attack Beta the Magnet Warrior. Marik is shocked by this recurring phenomenon of losing his grip on Joey. As Joey attacks, Yugi plays the trap he took from Joey's hand, Magic Arm Shield. He sends Rocket Warrior's attack back at Panther Warrior, who loses 1,500 attack points and then loses another 500 with Joey's attrition spell card. So, Panther Warrior's attack is a big old goose egg. Is attrition a real card?
I don't think so.
It doesn't look like a real card. Also, another one of the cards that Joey has doesn't look like a real card, so I'll ask about that later.
Let me see. Are you real?
Is attrition real?
Nope. It does not appear to be real. It is just in this.
They don't use it in the manga.
Weird.
This is the Rocket Warrior effect. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Either way, we cut to Tristan, Serenity, and Duke, i.e. the B-plot trio, trying to find the gang when we cut right back to Yugi taking his turn. Yugi sacrifices Beta to summon Beast of Guilford and has it attack Rocket Warrior, setting Joey's life points down to 1,700. Marik taunts Yugi as he still maintains control of Joey's mind as we cut back to Tristan yelling at duels for only having 1 locator card, and then gets upset when he sees Duke and Serenity holding hands and gets all jealous like a possessive creep.
How dare you be mad about leaving the blind girl alone?
They run back into the Ghoul Goons, who start chasing them when Tristan decides to take them on while Duke runs with Serenity.
Not the Ghoulins.
Not the Ghoulins.
Sometimes I just feel the need to mash words together, and sometimes it works, and sometimes you get Ghoulins.
Ghoulins.
Not the Goonals. All right, maybe it does work.
Galoons.
You big Galuna. Hey, bada bing, bada Ghoulin.
We'll keep working on it.
My mama made the best gabagoolin this side of Jersey.
Hey, what are we talking about over here?
Hey, forget about it.
Hey, Yug, let me tell you about Serenity and... Oh, I'm not going to do it in voice.
Serenity, she knows my mama's recipe for gabagool.
Oh, I love it. Oh.
All right, the bit's gone on too long.
Do you know what gabagool is?
It's that thing from The Sopranos, right?
Anyway, Serenity and Duke run across a crosswalk when My Valentine comes speeding down in her car, almost running them over. You think she could run over Tristan and save the other two? Speaking of Tristan, we cut to a bunch of galoons.
I'm in your brain.
They're beaten up as Tristan is apparently good for something and tries to get information from one of them when suddenly My Valentine peels it and doesn't run over Tristan.
Fuck! Sag.
They all start driving towards Domino Pier to get the gang while getting info we already knew since we watched the damn show. Mai pulls some Fast and the Furious moves as they barrel through Domino City.
Weird that there's only one driver in this entire city.
I know, right?
Also, Mai has a license. Good for her.
We cut back to the duel, and it's Joey's turn. He draws skull dice, and Marik monologues in Joey's mind. Just kind of the same shit always. In the manga, Marik just stalls Joey since he has no use for him anymore and figures they can both drown for all he cares. Yugi tries to hit the Serenity button, which starts getting the worms of the hater out of Joey, but not all of them as Joey sets 2 cards face down. Manga Marik is shocked that Joey disobeyed him yet again, which is surprising because he's kind of done it so much at this point, so I don't know why he's even surprised. Yugi draws Mystical Rift panel and has Beast of Guilford attack Panther Warrior. Joey activates his dice combo with Skull Dice and Graceful Dice, but Yugi plays D-Spell to stop Graceful Dice, and Skull Dice doesn't lower Guilford's attack low enough to stop Panther Warrior from being destroyed. We cut back to the Fast and the Furious remake as Mai and the side characters start driving up to the pier and see the duel. Kaiba and Mokuba have been waiting on the sideline trying to figure out a way out of this when Mai and the side characters roll up and are trying to figure out what's going on when Mokuba fills them in, because that's all he kind of does in this. They haven't arrived yet in the anime, which I've already said. Taya tells Serenity not to take the bandages off so she doesn't see Joey like this, and Mai is there to comfort a worried Serenity. Good for Mai.
Do you mean they haven't arrived yet in the manga?
Yes.
That's it.
Joey draws into Meteor of Destruction, which I think is also a fake card.
It's real.
Oh, it is? Oh,
yep.
Okay. But it's a spell card that can put end to Yugi's life points as it inflicts just enough damage to take him out as the episode ends. Ooh, how will Yugi get out of this?
My only other note for this episode is that my Valentine, a normal woman, keeps wandering into some bullshit these kids are getting into.
Yeah. Well.
She just wants to have card game tournaments.
And guess what?
Getting mysticism in it.
She's fucked, dude.
I know. Why do you hurt me so, Andy?
Hey, it's not me. It's Takahashi. Kind of. It's kind of Takahashi, kind of Studio Gallop or whoever wrote Waking the Dragons, but we'll get there when we get there. We get into episode 78, which is chapters 139 and 141, and the end of this bit of the story.
139 to 141.
Shut up. We cut to an established shot of the duel area the two bros have been playing on as we start to see the sun setting on both the day and the final moments of this duel. Joey has the card he needs to win, and Marik gloats through Joey at Yugi as he sees victory finally. Mokuba asks Kaiba if there's anything they can do to stop this duel, but with Taya trapped, they are stuck. The Galoon even comes out of the crane's cockpit to show off the remote switch he has to drop the giant crate on Taya. Kaiba looks at his deck, probably thinking about a way to, duel his way out of this, when he kits up the Kaiba Corp radio with the plan. Probably the duel, right?
I think a very funny way to recut that would just be to keep doing a thing where it's like a character looking at a thing that looks back at the character. Just do that back and forth faster and faster between Kaiba looking at his deck and the camera looking at himself. And then eventually smash cutting to what Kaiba does.
He looks at me.
How can I use my cards to get out of this one?
And I looked at him. He looks at me. And I look at him. We cut back to the duel, and Yugi is yelling to Joey, trying to get through Marik's mind control, while Marik is shouting in Joey's brain ear that he needs to play Meteor of Destruction and kill Yugi. Joey is clearly struggling, but he vocalizes he remembers his friends and their adventures in Duel's Kingdom, while we get a Joey's Greatest Hits flashback to pad the time hard. Joey is clearly starting to get his conscience back and tries to fight off Marik as Marik tries for one last push to get Joey to do his bidding. Yugi yells to Marik that he is a coward and he is the one who truly lost this match as he could not keep his full grip on Joey's mind. Yugi is determined to save Joey while time is running quickly out. I think we're down to the 5-minute less mark. I think we're actually down to minutes, literal minutes.
I think at this point it is actually 60 seconds left. Yugi's like, that's right, Marik. You can't do it.
Joey, hurry up. Yugi taunts Marik's mind control, which provokes Marik to go full beast mode on Joey to have him play Meteor of Destruction to take Yugi out. But as Joey sees Yugi's in trouble, he tries to fight extremely hard to fight off Marik's powers and finally breaks free as the piece of Marik disintegrates from Joey's mind. That's a visual thing. Yugi has tears of joy well up in his eyes as he succeeded to bring his best friend back. Yugi plays Mystical Rift panel to hold Marik's Meteor of Destruction. Now he can decide the outcome of the duel as he can hit himself or Joey. Kaiba understands the stakes and hopes the timing of his plan works out with the whatever he's doing. Probably dueling. Joey is confused as he finally is starting to come back to reality and asks Yugi what's going on. Yugi tells him everything with a smile on his face as he says he has to put an end to this duel, but for Joey to remember that they beat Marik together. Taya tries to get him to do something, but they are both about to swim with the fishes. Kaiba's helicopter then suddenly appears as apparently it can be remote controlled. The Ghoul Goon is taken by surprise, but as he tries to hit the switch, Kaiba zips his Blue Eyes White Dragon card at the Ghoul's hand that's holding the remote, which I believe actually hits him, I'm assuming, in the sub, and it looks like he got kind of hit with a shuriken, I'm assuming.
In the sub, it embeds itself in his hand.
Yeah, that's right.
Kaiba fucking whipped that shit at him.
Exactly. So they kind of cut that a little bit in the dub for obvious reasons. In the manga, this event kind of happens, but like I said before, Mokuba gets held hostage early in the duel, and Kaiba does it at the Ghoul's hand holding the knife to Mokuba's throat.
After this happens, Kaiba didn't know what card he was gonna throw, so afterwards when he looks and sees it was a Blue Eyes, he says, "My luck was too good," because he didn't want to damage one of his Blue Eyes.
Yeah, he says that exact thing too. He says that exact thing too.
Damn, it couldn't have been Voice Raider on the top.
He was
Son of a
he was
bitch.
hoping. He said, "I'm hoping it's a comic art," and then he goes, "Wah!"
Oh, please be Soggy the Dark Clown.
He actually gets upset that he used blue eye, like wasted blue eyes on a lowlife. I think he said something like, "You got blood on my car, you fucking idiot." Taya is saved, so they go to help Yugi and Joey. Yugi informs Joey of the stakes and decides he wants to help save him. He played Mystical Repel to buy some time so he could say what he wanted. In the manga, Yugi says Joey taught him that he wasn't alone and that he taught him to have courage. He calls Joey his best friend and that he loves him in a very well done panel. Yugi has the trap card direct the attack at him, which depletes his life points. The box with the key for Joey opens. 30 seconds hit the clock so Joey can unlock his chains, but Joey's conflicted as a weakened Yugi is ready to die for him. Literally. They don't even say Shadow Realm in this. They don't even sugarcoat it. Joey tells Yugi that he taught him courage himself and about never giving up, so he will save him as Serenity takes off her bandages for the first time and can see. Joey takes off the puzzle in his duel disc, and Yugi also took his off before, kind of almost passing out, to swing across the pier with the chain to get Yugi's key. As he gets it, though, the anchor is set off and drags the two down. The gang watches in horror at what just occurred, but Joey is able to unlock Yugi's cuff and Yugi rises to the surface. The gang then realizes Joey never took his own key, and Tristan tries for someone to get it for him so he can swim down to save Joey, as we see Serenity dive down herself with the key to save Joey herself. We see Joey start to drown as he sees Serenity come to the rescue, much to his surprise. Everyone's back together again, and Kaiba schemes about how he's looking forward to getting his focus back to the final. Joey apologizes for almost destroying their friendship, but Yugi tells Joey that not only did he not do that, he also proved how strong their friendship is. Joey kicks himself for letting it come to this and feels ashamed to go to the finals when Mai comes in with some classic "Get it together, Joey" pep talks. You know the ones. They talk about how Serenity looks up to Joey and she had the courage to take her bandages off because of him. They embrace in a nice sibling hug as we get our happy ending. Joey gives back Yugi's puzzle, and we get a classic friendship moment with the entire gang, Yami included. Yugi thanks Yami for giving him the strength to save Joey, and Yugi thanks Kaiba and Mokuba for their help, and we shift our focus to getting to the finals as the episode ends. Things kind of play out slightly different in the manga, however, so I wanted to kind of cover this.
Speaking of things being slightly different, I was slightly incorrect when I said Meteor of Destruction is a real card. It is a real card. It doesn't do what this one does. There's a different card that does what it does here. Tremendous Fire is a card that burns your opponent for 1,000 and yourself for 500. Meteor of Destruction will deal 1,000 damage if your opponent's life points are higher than 3,000.
Oh, well, that wouldn't have worked.
Nope.
But, so how things play out in the manga is like the beats are generally played the same, but how it happens is a little different, bit of a different story. So when Joey tries to save Yugi and they both get dragged down, Serenity is not the one who saves Joey. Kaiba is actually the one who saves Joey from drowning.
What?
Kaiba takes Joey's key after Joey saves Yugi and drops it down to Joey. Literally just takes the key and goes blip.
All right. I think saying he saved him is pushing it a little far.
He's the one who grabbed the key and gave it to Serenity is not here.
Give it to him.
He dropped it down though.
Kaiba could have been like, "Oh man, Joey's on the other side. He'll never get this." Haha.
He says something about I think it's been long enough, and he drops it kind of thing, and not thinking he was dead, but thinking I wonder how long he can hold his breath kind of thing, and then drops the key down, and before Joey passes out, he sees the key and comes back up. Regardless of that, then Mai and the side characters come soon after, and Joey has his little pout session. We get a nice moment as Joey remembers he is at the pier where they went off to Duelist Kingdom, where he wanted to help Serenity. This was where Joey took his first steps to becoming a true duelist. This is why I bring it up, because I think it's a very, I think it's a kind of a good signifier for where Joey has come with. It's a good checkpoint where Joey has come since Duelist Kingdom, the beginning of that. He was a novice, he didn't know anything, and now he's going to the Battle City finals with the likes of Yugi and Kaiba and plenty of others. So I think that's really cool. It was there. At that point, Serenity decides to take off her bandages as she gains the courage to do so, being so inspired by the presence of her big brother. She gets her wish, as the first thing she sees as she opens her eyes is Joey, and they have that same warm embrace as we start shifting our focus to Battle City as that chapter ends. And that's it. That's the whole Yugi versus Puppet Joey, which is, I think this is easily probably top 3. I mean, maybe it will change when we get to the rest of the season, but this definitely right now is the best duel we've had so far in this season. Maybe even the series.
I'd agree with that. The stakes were high. The emotional impact was there. It had characters we gave a shit about on both sides.
Even the like padding filler stuff wasn't that unnecessary. Like it felt more like they had something to do. So I think my biggest problem with like when they do the B plot padding stuff is it's generally very one note and it just repeats things over and over again. So like I guess doing it in like a weekly format when you're watching them from week to week, it makes sense because you have to kind of remind people as time goes on. But watching the episodes back to back and kind of getting that same stuff can be kind of a mood killer. But this one worked pretty well. I think they were all doing something a little different. I think new things happened every time they went to a new place. Or like, they get chased by the ghouls, then Duke appears, then they get away, then whatever happens with Tristan being jealous, and then they get found again, then they run, then Mike appears, and then they go. Like something always happens. Like it's progressing. It isn't just them on a fucking train with Serenity crying about not wanting to take her bandages off and Tristan trying to get in her pants. And it's even the same with like the other stuff with like as far as like Taya and Grandpa Moto. Like Taya has been like unfortunately one of the worst written characters in this season because she is so fucking more one note because she doesn't do as much in the manga, so they have to keep kind of going back to that. I'm so worried about Yugi and his safety. I'm so worried about our friends. I'm so worried about friendship and whatever. And it just gets kind of like repetitive and nothing happens with it because they don't know what to do with their character. So it's kind of a shame because I think she could be a really good emotional crutch. And which when she is that, she's great. But when they don't know what to do with her, they just write her so poorly, I think.
Don't worry. We know what to do with her, and we'll fix it on the remake.
We'll make her
by
dance
getting rid
more.
of Tristan.
Yeah! Well, that is it for what we have to cover this episode. What are we going to be covering next episode?
Next time, we're going to cover Bakura busting out of the hospital and facing Bones in the Boneyard, also known as the Bone Zone. So Bakura's Bone Zone Bonanza will be the name of the episode, of course. Mai will face a actor, I guess.
Ninja?
He played a ninja. He plays ninjas.
He was in the Naruto live action that they're making.
Oh, no.
In the anime.
Oofa.
Before it's even written.
And we'll begin the Battle City Finals properly.
Yeah, they'll get to the place and whatever. Well, I didn't really get to... I mean, do we have any... I don't think we really got to the final thoughts. Do you want to kind of talk about your final thoughts or about anything with this part
These
of the...
episodes fuck so hard.
It's got everything. It's got friendship. It's got conflict. It's got My Valentine. It's got Kuribo.
What more could I want?
That's literally everything you probably ever want. And there's like good story. It's a good part of the story. It's conflict for our main protagonist. We get to see Yugi grow as a person, which is really cool because we have not gotten a real Yugi spotlight in a long time, which is such a shame.
Yeah, he's been Yami for a couple episodes.
That's the thing is like he usually goes to Yami for a lot of this time.
Actually, he's been Yami ever since the Duel with the Exodia guy, hasn't he?
Yes, he has actually, and that kind of sometimes tracks. I don't think he's ever become Yugi.
Did a little Yugi even talk to Yami during the Arcana duel? I don't think he did.
No, he appeared. He didn't talk to. He probably didn't talk to him much, but he did appear at the end because he saved Arcana.
That's right, because Yami was gonna let him die.
I guess he's like whatever. Or I guess Yugi at least took over quick enough where he could save him. I don't think Yami was going to really feel one way or the other.
Hey, shout out to Yugi for keep taking over the puzzle whenever someone's about to fucking die.
Good for Yugi. He's getting better control of it. So I'm glad. So that's the big reason I was really excited to talk about this duel. Is like I genuinely like Yugi as a character. Like Yugi himself, not just Yami. Yami is great too, but I genuinely like Yugi as a character, and watching his growth throughout the series has actually been very heartwarming, and I'm very excited to keep going with that. So this is definitely one of the highlights of the series, I think, in my opinion.
There's one thing that you're forgetting, though.
What?
We get to update the list of things that were lost into the ocean after that Kaiba helicopter took the crane down with it.
Oh, shit! I didn't even think about that. So there's now Mako's dad.
Yep, Mako's dad. Can never forget him.
Kind of Bandit Keith. Not really.
Bandit Keith, we found him later.
Exodia.
Yep, Exodia. That's still gone. Starships.
Bakura's knife.
Yep,
that's
the
kind
knife
of
Bakura
only
stabbed
manga
himself
only.
with. We've only had 2 really big additions. I'm not counting the anchor because anchors are supposed to be in the ocean.
Yeah, that's what they're meant to do, kind of. Not in the way it was supposed to be done, but
Yeah, they work there.
that's their domain. But crane's definitely not supposed to be there, and a helicopter's definitely not supposed to be there.
I did also look up, just for funsies, how deep piers are around that area. And if that is the area where the cruise ship left for Duelist Kingdom, the water is probably 60 to 90 feet deep.
Yeah, you could drown in that.
You could drown in a lot less.
But you can drown in that.
I do think it'd be very funny if Marik just didn't measure the chain right and the anchor goes all the way down and no one gets dragged in.
That'd be kind of funny, actually. Oh, no. Oh.
Also, I think it's funny that the anchor weighs, like, less than 1/10 of what the shipping container to kill Taya weighed.
Yeah, you could just use that instead. It would have been probably more effective.
Yeah, matter of fact, why are we dueling? Just kill him.
You shoot him. Because it's about card games, Phoenix.
Bust out the Millennium Glock. I'll send you to the Shadow Realm, all right?
Well, I think we've digressed long enough in this episode. We've done a lot of digressing, but
We saved our digressions for the start, though.
yeah. So at least like we got to the meat and potatoes of this pretty good, and it's a great episode. So I'm sure that'll kind of save us, hopefully. Or
Yeah, these episodes were awesome. Loved it. No notes. Well, I have notes, but minor.
yeah, we have notes, but we don't have like horrendous notes.
Yeah, we've got like, what, 7 pages of notes, it looks like?
Yeah, well, no, this was a pretty
Just over
quick
6.
one. If we didn't talk all the time and we just shut the fuck up sometimes and just did this, we probably could have gotten this done under an hour.
If we didn't talk all the time, we wouldn't have a show.
It's true. Do you want to do your social media bit?
Sure, you can find me on the internet being the king of casual card games, playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, MTG Arena, Marvel, Snap, at twitch.tv/PhoenixFarce or youtube.com. I upload the videos the same day. Go to the YouTube. It has a backlog that's way longer than Twitch will keep because Twitch keeps it for like 2 months.
You can also find our duel that we did a live stream on.
Yes, we did a live stream where we played cards that were used by duelists in Duelist Kingdom. It was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll do more of those in the future. I don't know if we're going to do the same exact format, but we'll do more fun stuff in the future. So please keep an eye out on at least Phoenix's Twitch or whatever in the future.
Yeah, and they can also find out more about those when you update them on the various socials, which are...
So my social media is apappasergi, PAPPASERGI on Instagram. I post art stuff. Going to be posting more music stuff as my music projects come out later in this year. And we also have a Instagram, Kuribros. We have a Twitter, The Kuribros. And we do have a YouTube channel, but it's kind of dead right now. We'll get there someday.
It's a placeholder.
The episodes will get uploaded there eventually, and maybe some other stuff we're kind of trying to think about. But thank you guys. Please remember to rate and comment on the podcast and share it with your friends. And
yeah, do the things that make the dings.
Exactly. Say it like that.
Like, comment, subscribe, all the stuff to boost notoriety, does wonders for us getting our names out there, which gets more people in, which helps keep us have our motivations to keep on keeping on. Even though I am a hate machine driven by my own spite, I am in fact infinite energy. I have cracked the code. I will never die.
Me neither. So, on that note, signing off, my name's Andy.
I'm Phoenix.
Giddy up and goodbye.
I think if my Valentine ran me over with a car, I'd just say thank you.